Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our class. Carol, how are you doing today?
I'm
Vanessa.
fine, teacher.
Good to know. How about you, Vanessa? How are you keeping yourself? Vanessa, are you listening to me? All the microphones are liberated, so we have like about 5 minutes to talk. So, Carol, why don't you talk about yourself? Tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? Where are you?
I am a lawyer and I live in São Bernardo do Campo near São Paulo. And I was studied in Toronto, but I need to come back to
you
Brazil.
are the girl from ILAC, yes?
Yes, exactly.
You and your husband. Is your husband with you there or no?
My husband was with me and stayed there 2 weeks and come back to Brazil. And after 2 days, I needed to come back because the school closed. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I know.
Yes.
And Carol, I'm sorry to ask you.
No
you
problem.
said you are a liar or you are a lawyer?
Lawyer. Sometimes a liar too.
That's what I was going to say. I have always thought that in order to be a good lawyer, you have to be a great liar. Okay. Sometimes
I don't think about this, but sometimes happen.
yeah. There is a joke in English. A guy runs into a lawyer's office and says, "Doctor, I have just killed somebody." And the lawyer says, "Just a moment. You think you did what?" Okay.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes.
So, how can you defend a person? Sometimes. That's why when he said, "I'm a liar," I said, "Oh, she's a lawyer." Okay. Anyway, it's good to have you here. Is your husband also attending the class with you, or he's not there today?
No, he is here, but he's working.
Oh, I see. Somebody needs to
yes,
earn
exactly.
the bread. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Vanessa? We still have a few minutes before the other students enter in the chat room. So, Vanessa, are you listening to me? Vanessa, are you there? Are you shy? You don't want to talk? Well, I think she's there, but she doesn't want to talk. So, and Carol, are you planning to go back to Canada
yes,
as soon as this?
Yes, I hope in August or September. I don't know if it's possible, but if it's possible, I will be back.
You'll be back, yes. I hope things are better by September,
Yes,
so,
I hope so.
Yes, I think that's the hope of everyone all over the world because the situation at the moment is really critical, okay?
Yeah.
Are you keeping yourself at home all the time?
Yes, now yes. Yes, because okay. I arrived in Brazil on last Tuesday. So I am in quarantine yet. So I don't have an option.
Yes, and probably you're luckier than me because the police they had closed the road. I live on a farm near Campos do Jordão, okay, but in the side of Minas. Okay. And there was a roadblock with the police. And since I was driving a rented car and the license plate was from Belo Horizonte, they stopped me and they said I couldn't come inside of the city because I was not from here. And then I had to explain that I lived here. And when I told them my story, I was just coming back from Europe, okay?
Oh my God.
You should have seen their face. They started walking away from the car. They didn't even ask for my driver's license or even the car's documents. They just stayed away from the car. And then a lot of other health workers came and they started talking to me, and they got my name and my ID number, my telephone number, everything. And I am really obliged to stay at home for 14 days.
Oh
Because I was in Italy. From Italy, I went to Belgium, from Belgium to France. And then the last stop was in Spain, all dangerous areas.
Yes,
So
exactly. But do
I'm
you stay
also,
here? But do you stay here with your family or no?
yes, I'm here only with my wife, but my wife locked me inside of my room. So she's outside. I haven't even been able to give a hug to my wife.
It's a good idea, Peter. I
No,
think I will
she's
do
a
the same with
terrible
my
wife.
husband.
She's a terrible wife, okay? She hasn't even given me a welcome back hug or anything like that, okay? She locked me inside of my room. She brings me the food, leaves the food at the door. I'm only allowed to go out
like a dog.
toilet, okay? So that's good because I have been spending all my time preparing lessons for you guys. Otherwise, you wouldn't have these lessons, okay? So let's hope that everything changes very fast, okay? Bruna is back. Hello, Bruna. Hello, Carol. Vanessa, are you back?
Hello.
I had asked you a question, but you never replied. I thought you were just, I don't know, away from the computer. How about you, Vanessa? What do you do? Can you tell me a little bit about you? All the microphones are okay. You can talk. Vanessa, I'm here. Yes, but you don't have a microphone? Yes? Is that your case? How about Livia? Where are you, Livia?
Hello, teacher. I'm sorry.
How are you?
Are you listening? Fine, thank you. I'm enjoying a lot.
It's so good to hear that you are fine, that everyone is fine, especially nowadays, with so many people getting sick. Well,
no, I'm not sick, thank you.
Thank the Lord for that, yes.
I'm trying to keep my mental health in order.
I think that's the biggest problem, okay?
I think so too.
Yeah. My wife wants to keep me here for another week. So if I don't go crazy before the end of the second week, I will continue with the classes. Otherwise, I might have to give you the classes from a mental hospital, okay? Because
no, we are going to pray.
Well, I believe in prayers, so keep your prayers, okay? Keep praying there, and I'll be able to finish, okay? Oh, Vanessa said that her microphone doesn't work. So, okay, Vanessa, if you have any questions, just use the chatting bubble to ask me, okay? Well, I have prepared 2 activities for you guys or for you girls, because I have seen only girls today. The guys probably are drinking and they don't want to watch an English class on a Saturday. I don't blame them, okay? It's Saturday, okay? I have no other option. So I'm here and I'm going to teach you, okay? Who runs the word? Yes. I don't know. I have no idea. The word is so confusing, okay? Bruno is asking me who runs the word. Ha ha ha. As Beyonce said, girls. Okay. I have nothing against that, okay? All right. So what are we doing today? Today I have prepared a special class for you that is going to help you elaborating your sentences better, more complex sentences, okay? And I have also, I don't know if you have had a chance to download some extra material. It must be in the website. If it's not, I will call our IT guy to ask him. It's just some extra material concerning phrasal verbs and idioms, okay? It's for you to have fun, for you to enjoy yourself during the weekend. If you are not able to answer the questions on Monday, we'll discuss them. But it's just a funny thing. I thought would be nice for you to have something funny to do over the weekend, okay? So, since we have a lot of girls here, I'm ready to start my part. I'm going to share my screen with you, so stay with me for just a moment, and that's it. This is what we are going to talk about today. I'm going to show you girls, I think there are no guys in the class, so I'm going to show you girls how to elaborate your sentences better, how to join sentences. Because if you talk using only single sentences, it's okay, people understand you, but that's not a natural English. My intention today is to teach you how to elaborate more complex sentences and to express yourself better. So we are going to talk about the use of adjective clauses. Does anyone here know what is an adjective clause? That's my first question. Does anyone here what is an adjective clause? Yes or no? Come on, your microphones are free. You can tell me, does anyone know what is an adjective clause? No, nobody knows?
I don't have idea.
You have an idea or you have no idea?
I don't have idea.
Okay, you have no idea. Good. So today's class is going to be good
It's
for you.
Sentence that works as an adjective.
Uh-huh. It's something like that. Can you elaborate a little better?
I have studied this, but I don't remember exactly how to make it.
Okay. So today's class is going to be good for you because by using adjective clauses, we can make more complex constructions, more elaborate constructions, and we can speak English more naturally. Okay? So let's start the class and let's talk about this. Remember, we don't have many people today, so I'll try to keep your microphones open. You can interrupt me, but please make sure that the TV or the radio is not on. Otherwise, there is going to be a lot of external sound and then our class is going to be a total disaster, okay? But your microphones are open, so we can discuss, you can interrupt me, and we can talk. So let's go to the beginning of the class. First, I want to introduce what the topic of today's class is. You see, adjective clauses. Everybody knows that an adjective is used to modify a noun. When I say, for example, she's a girl, it's a car, it's a house, these sentences are simple sentences. By adding an adjective like she's a pretty girl, that's an amazing house, or that's an expensive car. Expensive, amazing, pretty are all adjectives used to modify the word girl, house, and car. So the idea of an adjective clause means a part of a sentence. So an adjective clause has the function to explain one noun that I use it in a sentence, but it's not very clear. You don't understand it very well. That's why it's a good idea to provide additional or extra information about that noun. For instance, if I tell you, I went out with the woman, can you understand this sentence? Remember that your microphones are on. I went out with the woman. Can you understand this sentence?
Yes.
Yes, everyone can understand. But do you have any idea about the woman that I'm talking about?
No.
That's the point. The word woman is not clear. I could say, I went out with the woman. She used to be married to Dr. Johnson. And let's suppose that Dr. Johnson is a common friend that everybody knows. She used to be married to Dr. Johnson. So this entire sentence, she used to be married to Dr. Johnson, has the function of providing additional information about the word woman. Understand this?
Yes.
Good. So in a normal conversation, if I say, oh, last Saturday I went out with the woman. She used to be married to Dr. Johnson. I took her to a nice restaurant downtown. That's okay, everybody's going to understand, but this is not natural English. That's not how a native speaker would probably say it. The idea is to try to join sentences, long single sentences, into one more elaborate sentence, okay? And in order to do this, we need to use what is called relative pronouns. So I have here the example. I went out with a woman. It is possible for you to understand the sentence, but you don't have any idea about the woman that I went out with. But if I say, I went out with the woman, she's the manager of my bank. Now you know who is the woman that I went out with, okay? So the function of the second sentence here, she's the manager of my bank. Okay, I'm going to highlight it for you. She's the manager of my bank. This entire sentence is providing additional information about the woman, okay? So when I say it, you can understand the entire thing. You know that the woman that I went out is the manager of my bank, okay? As I said, it's not a problem if you talk like this. We're getting some, let me mute here. We're getting some external sound, it's making it bad. So if you have any question, just use the chat box, okay? So I went out with the woman. Woman is a person. So when I am trying to provide extra information about a person, and if you observe, woman appears in the second sentence as she is the manager. It's the subject of the second sentence. So the only thing I'm supposed to do is I replace the subject she by the relative pronoun who, and I join the sentence. Observe that there is no comma to separate. I went out with the woman who is the manager of my bank. That's a more elaborate, and that's a beautiful sentence. At the same time, you know exactly the woman I'm talking about, okay? So who is used here because I'm talking about a woman. If I were talking about an object, like I found the book, the book is not a person. It is used in this class. It's okay to talk like this again, but if I wanted to join the sentence, I would say, I found the book which is used in this class. In both cases, okay, you see, adjective clauses are groups of words that usually contain a subject and a verb and provide additional further description. Adjective clauses are always introduced by a relative pronoun. And the relative pronouns are, first, who, when refers to a subject person. It means the person in the second sentence must be the subject of the sentence. Whom. Whom. Many people don't even know or have never seen this. Also refers to a person, but not a subject, an object person. Whose refers always to the owner of something. I'm going to give you an example with each one of that, so you'll be able to understand. That is like a joker. It's possible to be used to substitute who, whom, or, I'm sorry, it's not what, it's which. I'm sorry, okay? As I said, I spend the night preparing the material for you, and sometimes there are a few mistakes that I didn't have a time to check, but as I go through the class, I will notice them. And maybe later we can upload the corrections. So that is a possible substitute for who, whom, or which. In a few cases, sometimes it's not possible. And which always refers to the subject or object thing. They may also begin with relative adverbs such as when, where, why, or, okay, let me go down here. Okay, when, where, or why. When refers to a time expression that appeared in the second sentence. Where refers to a place expression, and why refers to the reason something was done. Apparently seems right, but as we see the examples, you might have questions. So far, I want to know, do you have any question about the relative pronouns or adverbs that we saw here, or no questions? No questions? Use the chat to respond, please. No questions. Can I just go on? Yes? Yes? Okay. So let's continue. Pay attention here to the examples. Here's one thing to keep an eye out for, to pay attention to. When adjective clauses add more information to a sentence rather than just description, they often need to be set off with a comma. You know what's a comma? You know? So what happens? Sometimes I tell you a sentence like, Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. That's a complete sentence. It is not necessary to say anything else. You know Leonardo da Vinci and you know Mona Lisa. But if I want to say Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, he was an Italian painter. An Italian painter is just providing additional extra information that is not really necessary for you to understand the original sentence. So in this case, I should say, Leonardo da Vinci, comma, who was an Italian painter, comma, painted the Mona Lisa. Just like in the first example here. Pizza is not very healthy. I love it, but it's not very healthy. But I want to say, most people love pizza. Most people love pizza. This second sentence can be inserted into the first one, but in between commas. If you observe, oh, there is a comma here, pizza, comma, which most people love, and another comma here. It's not very healthy. Every time a sentence is in between commas, it's because it is introducing extra information, not necessary information for you to understand the original sentence. Like pizza is not very healthy, okay? If you read the newspapers, if you read magazines in English, you will observe that many times you find there like, what is the name? Boris, I forgot the name. What's the name of the present British Prime Minister? Boris Johnson? Is it Boris Johnson? Yes? Yes, it's Boris Johnson. Good. So imagine that Boris Johnson was diagnosed with coronavirus or tested positive for coronavirus, okay? This is a complete sentence. It's not necessary to say anything else, okay? So Boris Johnson tested positive for coronavirus. But I want to say that he is 62 years old. So he is 62, I'm not sure, I'm just guessing. He's 62 years old. This is extra, additional information. So I can say, Boris Johnson, comma, who is 62 years old, comma, again, tested positive for coronavirus. Now, if you pay attention to the magazines and newspapers that I mentioned, what happens? They shorten everything. Instead of saying Boris Johnson, who is 62 years old, you're only going to see Boris Johnson, comma, 62, comma. That number always indicates the age of the person, but it has to be in between the commas, all right? Because it's extra information. It's not essential for you to understand. That's the only case you use the comma. In the second case, like those people, you see? Those people will go to camp. I have those people whose names are on the list will go to camp. Observe that there is no comma because the word those people is not clear. Then the second sentence here is important for you to understand those people. So I don't use comma. Those people whose names are on the list will go to the camp. What you originally had was, those people will go to camp. Their names are on the list. Their names. There is a possessive. So I replace it by whose, copy the rest. Those people whose names are on the list will go to camp. The third example, Grandpa remembers the old days. If I only say this, you're going to ask me, what old days are you talking about? The old days when there was no television. So the second part was explaining the old days. Since it's a time expression, I say, Grandpa remembers the old days when there was no television. Then I have here, fruit is expensive. If I only say this, you can say, no, it is not. Bananas are very cheap. Oranges are also cheap. But I'm saying fruit is expensive. And then in another sentence, I would explain fruit by saying, fruit that is grown, fruit grown organically, or fruit that is grown organically. This is explaining the word fruit. So I can just introduce it after the word fruit. Fruit that is grown organically is expensive. And I make what is called an adjective clause. So this that is grown organically is the adjective clause, and fruit is expensive is the main clause. Is there any question so far, or can I just go on? Come on, let me know. Any problem so far? Is there any sentence that you were not very sure about, or can I just go on? Go on. No problem. Okay, excellent. Students, fine. Okay, so let's continue. Students get good grades. All students get good grades? Not always. But students, okay, like they are intelligent. So I can say students who are intelligent get good grades. Eco-friendly cars help the environment. They run on electricity. So eco-friendly cars that run on electricity help the environment. I know someone. Then I have another sentence. Who? Oh, his father served in the Second World War. His father. So I'm not talking about the father. I'm talking about the father of a friend of mine. So his, I replace by whose. I know someone whose father served in the Second World War. The horrible noise he makes is the main reason, there is missing an N here, is the main reason why Sue does not like to eat soup with her brother. Probably her brother, when he is eating soup, he goes like, and this noise irritates her, gets on her nerves, and then she doesn't like eating with him. Then the horrible noise he makes is the main reason why Sue does not like to eat soup with her brother. I have more examples here. The kids who were called first will have the best chance of getting a seat. Observe that the adjective clause can be inserted after the subject, the kids, or they can be inserted after the object. Like, I went out with the girl who works at Citibank, okay? So it's not important. But I really want you to pay attention that there are no commas. Commas are only used when it's extra information, okay? Oh, I enjoy telling people about Janet Evanovich, whose latest book was fantastic, okay? Whose latest book was fantastic, okay? There's a, okay. The store where the new phone was being sold had a huge line of people outside it. Where? Because I'm talking about the location of the store. Those who do not complain are never pitied. This is a famous quotation that was said by Jane Austen. People demand freedom of speech to make up for the freedom of thought, which they avoid. This is also a famous quotation by Soren Kierkegaard. That's a hard name to say. Never go to a doctor whose offspring plants have died. That's also a quotation by Emma Bombeck. If the doctors don't look after their plants, why are they going to look after you? Okay? Any question about these so far, or can I just go on? Microphones are free. Go
No,
on.
it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, let's go on then. One thing that is very common to happen is because of the internet, a lot of people nowadays, instead of talking, they're texting, sending messages. And then the less you have to text, the better. So people are trying to shorten sentences, okay? Okay. I'm sorry, I had to mute the microphones again because of external sound. So an adjective clause that has a subject pronoun, which, that, or who, can also be shortened into an adjective phrase, okay? Oh, you can shorten an adjective clause in two ways. You can simply omit the subject pronoun and the verb, or you can omit the subject pronoun, and if you don't have the verb to be omitted, you change the original verb to the ing form. Pay attention to the examples here. The books that were borrowed from class must be returned. That were borrowed. It is possible to omit that, were, verb to be, and that, and simply say, the books borrowed from class must be returned. No problem at all. It's the same thing. It continues to be an adjective phrase, not a clause, because it's not complete, so it's just a phrase. The girl who is leading the parade is my best friend. I can omit who, I can omit is, and I just say the girl leading the parade is my best friend. His share of the money, comma, which consisted of 100,000 grant, was given to him on Monday. In this case, I have which consisted. I can omit which, and I can change, and I have to change consisted to consisting. I use only the verb in the ing, okay, in this case, because it's in the past. His share of the money, consisting of 100,000 grant, was given to him on Monday. Any problem about this or no? One more. Something that smells bad may be rotten. I can omit that, but I have the verb smells. So I'll change it to something smelling bad may be rotten. Okay? Any problem about this or no? Your microphones are open. No problem?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, remember, the target, the goal of an adjective clause is to add more information to a noun or a pronoun. As you can see from the examples above, you can add information by including a longer adjective clause or tighten up a sentence by turning the adjective clause into just an adjective phrase, which is a reduced form. Okay? Pay attention here. Keep up. Come on. Notes. This part is good. Pay attention here. I went out with the woman. She used to be married to Dr. Miles. So in this sentence, if I stop here at the first part, I went out with the woman. At the same time, I'm sure you're going to ask me, what woman are you talking about? Oh, the woman that used to be married to Dr. Miles. So she used to be married to Dr. Miles is providing additional information about the woman. So as I said, it would be more natural to join the two sentences. Since I'm talking about the woman, okay, and she refers to the woman in the second sentence, she, and it's a subject, so I'm going to use who to replace it. For example, I went out with the woman who used to be married to Dr. Miles. It's possible to replace who by that used to be married to Dr. Miles. The only case you cannot use that to replace who or which is when you are giving extra information between commas. That's the only case you're not supposed to use that. Be careful with these if you have to take any proficiency test like TOEFL or IELTS or Cambridge exams. They love these, understand? Many times they put that in between commas and it's not correct. I have to use who or which. Now, note, in this case, it is not possible to omit who used to be, because who became the subject of the adjective clause. Okay? I went out with the woman used to be married. No, I need to say who used to be married. Okay, there's another mistake. I went out with the woman who used to be married to Dr. Miles. Okay? Now, I'm going to make a little alteration here and see what's going to happen. No, I went out, not our, I went out. Another little mistake here. I went out with the woman that used to be married to Dr. Miles. I told you it's the same. But observe what happens when I change the position of the woman. I went out with the woman. Dr. Miles used to be married to her. Now the woman appears in the second sentence, not as the subject, but as the object, her. And there is a preposition before, married to her. So since it's a person, but not the subject, the object of the second sentence, if you are doing any test, any English test, you will have only one good and possible answer, this one here. I went out with the woman to whom Dr. Miles used to be married. I need to use whom because the woman is the object, and I need to use the preposition to because it is in front of the object. So every time I use whom, if I have a preposition, the preposition is placed here. For example, I went out with the woman. Dr. Miles is talking with her about my clinical situation. Dr. Miles is talking with her about my clinical situation. Remember, there is a difference between talk to and talk with. Talk to is just have a conversation. Talk with is to discuss something. So Dr. Miles is discussing with her my clinical situation. So since I have Dr. Miles is talking with her, if I want to join the sentence, I have to say, I went out with the woman with whom, because now the preposition is with whom Dr. Miles is talking. This is the best possible answer you can use. This is the best possible English you can use. But you're going to be surprised that most Americans and even Canadians don't use whom because they don't even know about the existence of whom. What they do is in informal spoken English, they just say, I went out with the woman here. I went out with the woman who Dr. Miles used to be married to. they will keep the preposition at the end of the sentence and they will use who. Now, if I want to shorten this, it is possible because in this case, the subject of the second sentence is Dr. Miles and not who. So I can simply say, I went out with the woman Dr. Miles is married to. Or used to be married to, okay? I don't want to get in trouble. So let's better fix it. Used to be married to. Understand this? It's a way of shortening the sentence. You see? In this case, it's possible to use that. When it comes to which, I don't have a subject-object form. It's always the same. Like, I finished reading the book. It's the #1 in the bestseller list. I finished reading the book, which is the #1 in the bestseller list. Or, I finished reading the book. You gave it to me on my birthday. I finished reading the book, which you gave me on my birthday. Teacher, is it possible to use that here? Yes, it's possible. Okay? So, just to finish this, you have the example that I told you. Dr. Johnson was appointed the new chairman. Chairman is the same of president of the company. He's 57 years old. Okay? I don't need this second sentence. He is 57 years old. This is absolutely extra information. Mr. Johnson was appointed, okay, the new chairman of the company. But I want to insert this. So since it is extra information, what's the first thing you have to do? Comma. Mr. Johnson, comma, who is 57 years old, comma, was appointed the new chairman of the company. Or Mr. Johnson, comma, 57 years old, comma, was appointed the new chairman of the company. Or Mr. Johnson, comma, 57, comma, was appointed the new chairman of the company. This last case is probably what you can find in any English magazine or newspaper every time they mention the name of a famous politician, a president, a prime minister, or I don't know, a prince, a queen, they will always bring like Queen Elizabeth, comma, 95, has isolated herself in a certain place, okay? Well, do you have any question about this? Were you able to understand why we use adjective clauses? Yes or no?
Yes.
Excellent. I have prepared some exercises for you. And can you just to see, we have practically run out of time, but just the #1, a very simple one. Bobby liked the dinner. Sally cooked it. Can you join the sentence using the correct relative pronoun?
Bob liked the dinner.
Yes. Try not to use that. Bob liked the dinner.
Bob liked the dinner that Sally cooked.
Yeah. But try not to use
the best option.
Salad with salad cooked.
Ah, thank you. That's it. Bob liked the dinner which Sally cooked. Okay. Now, the woman was our neighbor. #3. She moved to Alaska. How about this one? Where do you introduce? What is difficult to understand? Is it neighbor or the woman? What is not very clear in the sentence? Neighbor or woman?
The woman moved
The
to
woman.
Alaska.
The woman, of course. So I'm going to insert, she moved to Alaska after the woman. Is it necessary, comma, or is not necessary?
It's not necessary.
Thank you for sharing. It's not necessary because she moved to Alaska. It's not extra information. It's important information. So how is it going to be? The woman
Who
Alaska.
moved to Alaska
who moved to Alaska was our
was
neighbor.
our neighborhood.
Excellent. Is there any other possibility?
That, can I use that?
Yes. And you could also say the woman moving to Alaska, okay, was our neighbor. All right. So you do have more exercises, okay? Try to do them since you are all in a quarantine, just like I am. Try to do them. You also have the answers to all the exercise of yesterday's class concerning reported speech, a lot of exercise. I did all of them myself, so you have to do it too. Okay, oh, see, there are many exercises concerning reported speech because that's difficult. And I think you also have some extra funny material concerning idioms and phrasal verbs for you to download. And on Monday, we'll discuss them in our class. On behalf of Descubra Mundo, I thank you very much for spending part of your Saturday afternoon bearing me, okay? And I hope to be here safe and sound, just like I hope that you are here safe and sound on Monday again, so that we can continue our class. Have you all great weekend, and I enjoyed your participation, okay?
Thank you so much. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for, bye-bye now. Have a great weekend, okay? See you guys on Monday.
Have a great
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye now.